I'm just ordinary people who found extraordinary love. Sometimes it's hard to believe that God keeps loving me so much.
Hello, welcome to Love Matters. I'm your host, Inez. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, as you know, we're getting ready for Christmas, and so I have a very wonderful guest. I call her Mother, but you all know her as Evangelist Louise Patterson.
Happy to be here with you. Inez is one of my favorite people, as much as she's trying to make a star out of me, and I'm allowing her to do so. So I'm very happy to be here on today and to say to all of you, Merry Christmas, because love does matter.
She is the wife of the late Bishop G. Patterson, who was, as you all know, the founder of Bountiful Blessings, Inc., and she also was right there by his side when they were formulating the company as well. He was the founder of Temple of Deliverance and so many other entities, but he was also the presiding bishop for the Church of God in Christ. And Mother Patterson is continuing his legacy, as you all are probably familiar with the Bountiful Blessings broadcast, of which I am also an employee and have been there for 9 years, I think. So it is such an honor and a privilege to have whom I call my mom on with me today.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about Christmas matters. So we want to start off, how does Christmas matter to you?
Well, Inez, Christmas matters to me because to me it's a time when most people who are terrible people allow the best side of them to show. To me it's a time of festivity and for joy, just a joyful time. I'm a giving kind of person. So I love giving at Christmas time. And I've already asked the Lord to give me 3 families that I can bless. I love giving all of the time, but especially at Christmas time. It's a joy to see how you can be such a blessing with so little to people who deem what you do for them to be such a big thing. And I try to practice that throughout the year.
I understand that. I do mission work as well.
Yes,
I go over to Africa, and it's amazing the little things that we do. Like we've given out toothbrushes and toothpaste and floss, and the children were elated. You know, it was like, wow. It's, for some of them, it was their very first toothbrush, and they were teenagers. Toothbrush and toothpaste. Now, let me ask you also. Tell me about, since we're talking about Christmas. Tell me about your first Christmas that you can remember as Christmas.
Well, my first Christmas that I can remember was just one that was full of joy, in as much as just a house full of us. You've never had fun unless you have 5 or 6 or 7 brothers and sisters, and each one's anxious to see what the other one had. But we were so fortunate in as much as we didn't require the sophisticated gifts like they do now. And if it was just a doll or a puzzle or whatever, we love the excitement of opening up the packages, no matter how big or how small. And I think our parents loved doing it for us as much as we enjoyed it. Yes, it was a great time in our house, a loud time. We could hardly let Santa Claus put the gifts under the tree without peeping. Down the stairs through the peephole, see what Santa Claus is doing.
Oh, yes, Santa.
Santa.
Well, since you're talking about Santa, tell me about your most memorable Christmas as a child.
You don't want to hear it. My most memorable time as a child about Christmas was finding out that Santa Claus ate the cookies, and that was my daddy. So to go downstairs and not have all of those gifts was the worst time and the most memorable time of my life. And the worst thing about it was trying to keep it secret from my smaller sisters and brothers. I didn't want them to have the heartbreak that I had suffered finding out who Santa was. That was my most memorable. Really, that was my most memorable time about Christmas.
Okay.
How about you?
I think I don't ever remember believing in that.
You were
So I
smart.
wasn't disappointed. I remember, because I had older sisters, and I
Yes.
think somewhere along that line they never let me.
It was a leak.
Right, they never let me believe in that. They always, Mama. Mama did it. So I never, that one didn't break my heart. But I think my most memorable one was when I wanted this baby doll. Happy birthday, baby Tenderlove.
Ah,
And and I kept, I cried and cried, and my mother kept putting on like she could not get that for me. And I had opened all the gifts, because I had a pretty large family, 5 sisters. So I opened all the gifts, even the little tiny one was nothing but $1 in it, but I was so excited. I think I was like 5 years old. And I remember thinking that was it. I was like, boy, I really thought she was putting on. I thought she was faking, that she really was going to get it for me. And I was kind of like sad. And all of a sudden she goes in her room and comes back out and says, oh, yeah, we forgot one. And I just knew, I saw the size. I had already figured out that has to be it. So I went crazy. I was so excited.
Love Christmas time.
Yes. Well, what was your favorite gift as a child? Something that you just, that stands out to you?
Dolls. We love dolls. And I think the one thing that I hate is that I didn't keep not a one of those dolls that we received, because now some of them would be priceless. Old dolls. Anything that's old other than me is a good thing. Old antiques, old dolls.
So were they the porcelain kind?
No, oh heavens, no.
Okay.
They weren't porcelain. Who could afford a porcelain doll? They were just dolls, you know, that you could get for not much. But because my father worked where he could get toys, we had everything. But just toys from a rag doll on down, you'd be surprised the value of a rag doll now, an authentic rag doll.
What was a Raggedy Andy?
Raggedy Andy.
That's it. I remember having
you
those.
coming on up.
Actually, I believe that right there.
Yes.
All right, but tell me about your most memorable Christmas as an adult.
Oh, my most memorable Christmas was my husband just getting me whatever I wanted.
It's got to be memorable.
Yes. It was always memorable, but the one that I remember most, and I'm not being whatever, but it's just the truth. I saw a ring that I wanted, and my husband said he wasn't going to get it. Okay, so you know how we do. Go down with the attitude. So he was out of town for Christmas. You know, Bishop would go out of town for whatever. He called me. At that time, we were doing our broadcast for my house. We had a studio in the house. He says, go to the left side of where the tapes were and move this and move that. And there was the ring. And I yet have, this is it. It's about 30 years old or whatever. But that was my most memorable Christmas, in as much as it was just his desire to surprise me. You know, and I guess to see what kind of attitude I'd have if he didn't give it to me. But that I will always remember. I shared that with the jeweler the other day when some of the parts needed repairing. That was a Christmas I will never forget.
Yes, I'd say so. I wouldn't forget it either. Let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about parties. A lot of times there are all kinds of parties going on, and as Christian women, what do you think is appropriate attire for Christmas parties?
Color.
Okay.
Color. Good sweet things that we don't eat normally. Christmas is a time to splurge and have a lot of friends around that you love, where you can just exchange even little things that we don't want everybody to know. If it's a girl party, we can let our hair down and tell some things that's really funny that you just want to be between us girls. I love time with just the girls, which you know that. Sometimes I get with INEZ and some of the young ladies and talk of my experiences as a young woman, and they find them very flattering or funny or whatever. That's the good thing about girl talk. I can talk to INEZ about everything, and what I like about her, she ingests those things that would make her a better young woman, and she's a prime example of a young lady to follow, in as much as she is a go-getter. She does not give up. She's one that's persistent to do those things that she feels that she's been driven to do. I love that about you, INEZ.